Hey folks, there are two things on my mind today, and they're kind of separate, but also kind of related. Like basically, I woke up this morning. I was in the middle of a dream and just kind of woke up at my usual wake up time, but came right out of this dream, and it was a dream about. It was basically, I was back in acting school in New York, which is where I was over 20 years ago, so a while ago. And that was a year that in a lot of ways was kind of rough. It was a year that I always feel like when I look back at it, there's some pain associated with it. It was a difficult year. It was a year that I had done 2 years of university and then really wanted to go deeper into acting and sort of explore what I would learn about myself by going deep into that. And so I went to New York and went to the neighborhood playhouse for a year and just had a year that sort of knocked me back in a lot of ways. It sort of I wouldn't say took the wind out of me. It's also the year that I sort of reconnected with music and then ultimately went into music after that. So there was some very positive things that came out of it. But as I've always thought about the year and felt about that year, it was kind of it was rough in the sense that I didn't really know how to do the work that I was there to do. And there was part of me that was vulnerable and trying to open up in some ways and discover where my sort of some deeper parts of myself. But the environment of the school, the teacher that I had, and my own, sort of constellation of circumstances and issues made it difficult. So, but I woke up from this dream and I swear to God, it was like I was going to be late to class. It was like I woke up thinking, oh my God, am I going to be late to acting class from 20 years ago? Like that kind of like coming right back. And then I ended up having a long conversation with Kati in which we kind of went into some of that stuff, just what was going on that year, what it was like for me, what was so difficult about it, a little bit about this relationship with the teacher that I had at the time that was definitely not a match made in heaven. And so so my first point, I guess, with this post is just how amazingly present that old stuff can be. It's like I woke up thinking I was going to be late to that class, like 22 years later. So that just kind of shows me, like, as I dig through these layers of my psyche and find patterns and get to the source of patterns, and it's kind of like I dig through one layer and then I see the pattern, then I see the source of it, and then I go down another layer and then I see another pattern and see the source of it. As I go through it, those layers are really real. They're really still there. They're actually not, it doesn't matter how long ago they got imprinted, they're there. It's real stuff. And that was really, it was just kind of profound to feel that. And then the second thing I noticed is that sort of shortly after that, then I got up and did my thing, meditated and had my morning, taught my piano lessons for the morning. And then shortly after that, I just was in a kind of agitated state. And I was angry, kind of short, not really lashing out or in a major way, but just felt this kind of emotion bubbling in me. And I luckily quickly clocked, oh yeah, I just discovered a new pattern. I just delved into a new pattern, and immediately an emotion arises, and there's immediately something underneath it. Now, I don't think that irritation is probably the deepest level of it, but it made sense to me in the sense of it came up sort of out of nowhere. There was really nothing to be upset about. There was no reason there was no problem. It was just I had this kind of weird energy, and so then I was able to go, oh, that's what's happening here. Like I'm hitting a new level, and it's going to be a new emotion. A couple weeks ago it was sadness. I hit a new realization, and then boom, it was like the wind just got knocked out of me. I'm overwhelmingly sad, again, for no tangible, no concrete, rational reason in my life right now. Just emotion is there. and I'm going through that again. And so that's kind of my second point with the post today, is like being on the lookout for that, noticing when we go to a new level, just being prepared for emotion to be there that is completely, it can be completely disconnected from our daily life and from what's happening right now. And just being aware of that, not attaching that emotion, because what emotion wants to do is it wants to attach to things. It wants to, your mind and your psyche wants to know that it's not crazy. It says, if I'm feeling so angry, there must be a reason. What's around me? I'm angry at you for this reason. It latches on to whatever's around. But of course, that doesn't let us experience it. That's kind of projecting it outward instead of just being like, oh, I'm feeling something. I don't think it has to do with you. I think it's me. Like letting that be okay. Like just genuinely being willing to sit with it and not project it out like that, I think is a big part of the work too, because then you actually get to see, okay, well, what is it really? Is it really irritation? Is it really anger? Is it really pain? What's there? I just get to be present with it, and little by little that'll settle, and then I'll go into the next thing and maybe see something. Usually these emotions throw up the next thing to be seen if I just rest with them. So I guess that's what I'm clocking today. It's just more of the same, but it keeps being new, and it keeps going deep, and it keeps being vivid. Wow, does it keep being vivid and real, and these mental patterns are a real thing. They're not just you're not making them up. So that's where I am today, folks. I love you all. Thank you for watching. So appreciate everybody who receives these and comments or likes them or just listens to them and gets something out of them. So thanks so much. Look forward to seeing you very soon.